Hi. Well, here we've got a very nice piece of old iron. This is a Wallace Band Saw. It's a 16-inch band saw made in Chicago, Illinois. This is new urethane tires. And I just put these on. I'm hoping these guides are hardly worn, so I think they're going to be good for a long time. And it looks to me like there's you know, plenty of meat left on them. They're probably about 3/4 of an inch wide, about an inch tall, and about 3/8 or so the final dimension. Anyway, it looks like they've got plenty of juice left in them. So I'm going to just pull up here and take a look at the we'll take a look at the blade guide itself. So that's right here. So there is a ball bearing at the back of this guide. Right back in here. It's actually at a slight angle, about 15 degrees or so. Maybe not quite that much. And then we have these two guides are going to go on either side of the blade. Now it's a little bit, that cavity that's in the back of these guides is obviously there to provide a little clearance with that bearing that's back there. So now I'm going to set the distance. You can set the depth at which the guides actually contact the blade, and then the gap between the guides and the blade, all with this. So everything is nice and tight here. I'm going to check the lower one, and let's take a look at the lower one, at the lower wheel here too while we're at it. This is the original guard. It's the original upper and lower guard. This is the lower guard. It just pops off. It's kind of held on there by spring tension on these side panels. So, and then down here we've got another guide similar to the one up above, and I'm thinking this one looks okay, so I'm not going to even adjust that one. It's got a really nice trunnion system on it. It actually goes somewhat past 45. And then it'll come back. You could probably get it to tilt a little bit this way too, but you'd have to adjust this stop screw. So it's got a 1/2 horse motor. It's a GE motor that is badged Wallace, and it says 1/2, or actually 1-2, which is a little different than what we're used to seeing on a 1/2 horse motor. So I'm reasonably sure it's a 1/2 horse motor, and we'll take a look at the motor badging here in a minute. But I just want to line these guides up again a little bit here before we flip it out. We'll try it now. I know that if we take the blade off, this is much quieter, so I'm thinking that most of the noise is coming from the guides. It's a really quiet motor, and it's a direct gear drive. It's the original motor, and I believe it's a repulsion induction motor. And we'll take. Okay, now we're at the back side of the saw. It's a 108.5 inch band is what I calculated. The wheel is 15.71 inches in diameter, so just got a couple of notes on the back. This is the nameplate off of the motor, and it is badged J.D. Wallace and Company and also General Electric. So the number on the motor is a 516787, 1800 RPM, single phase. That's another nice thing about the saw. It's 110 volts. I believe it is a 1/2 horse motor, but as we all know, we'll set it up on the long way. It's a little over 3 inches. It's about 3 1/4 inches by 3. So the 3 1/4 inches is what we're going to go through with the blade. So let's flip this. So that is 3 1/4 inches by 3, and it did that quite quickly. So nice smooth cut. It's really smooth, actually. Very impressive. So that's the Wallace Band Saw. There's a oil in this chamber, and there's a gear that reduces the speed on the motor from 1800 down to something more useful for this wood cutting bandsaw. It's got really good trunnions. I just can't get over how good they are. And then it's got a, well, the top is the original top. It's about 3/16 of an inch thick. It's just a plate of steel, and it could be one could mount a fence on this. I don't think it would be very difficult to do, but that is the top. It's got some it's got some pits in it, but perfectly serviceable for any kind of wood cutting operation. Here's the blade. This is the tilt adjustment, so this tracks the blade forward and backward on the wheel here. Here's the new urethane tire, and then this is the blade tensioning mechanism here. And that works really well. Everything works great on it. Here's the guide support system, and then there's a way one can adjust the height of the guide support above the table with this bolt, and then of course this is all adjustment of the guide. In the front we still have the well, nice clear label, J.D. Wallace Company, Chicago, USA, and then a wooden section of guard. I believe that's probably original. And then it looks like this saw was probably black when it left the factory, and it's been repainted silver. This is the original lower guard, and then here we have a graduated trunnion so we can set an angle. And then a nice two-piece cast iron base on this saw. That's all original, and it's sitting on a wheeled a set of wheels that allow me to move it around the shop. I think, if I remember right, this saw weighs around 370 pounds, and one of the reasons it's so heavy is I believe this arm is mostly solid. Out here it's there's a core in this area for the blade for this mechanism, but I believe the rest of it's all solid. I can't be certain because I've never drilled into it, but given the weight of the saw and the rigidity, I would say it more than likely is solid. So it's a terrific saw. I believe the motor, even though it's half horse, I believe it's also a repulsion induction motor. We see no capacitor bumps on the outside of this motor. So it's a really good motor. It works, has been working for, how many years now? Probably 70, 80, almost 80 years. And I expect it's going to keep running for a while. Okay, that's the Wallace Band Saw, 16 inch in St. Paul, Minnesota.